Monte Moore on the phone this morning, and Monte, you're here with Buddy and Allison from B95. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, thanks.
You're out in Rocky Mountain country, aren't you?
Yeah, it's beautiful out here in Denver this morning.
Oh, love that. Wonderful. Oh, yes. The unsinkable Molly Brown house is still standing, by the way.
Oh, yeah. My mom used to actually work there and give tours.
Oh, is that right? That's a neat tour. I worked out there in the 70s. Well before your time, Monty. I'm sorry. Monty, the reason we're talking to Monty is you remember we were talking to Laura Wooten the other day, the movie producer from London, because they're coming here to Mississippi to film a movie called Cutter, and they're going to be here this like August and September. I got them to move off July, because it's just too deathly hot here, you know.
Blooming hot.
But they're coming in August and September. They're going to hire a lot of local folks for casting and and Monty is the writer of the screenplay for Cutter. And I understand now you got an extensive background not only in screenwriting but also in graphic arts, comic books, gaming, all kinds of things, right?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I started out after getting an art degree, working in the comics and games business, doing artwork for a lot of fun projects for everything from Dungeons and Dragons and Harry Potter to working for DC Comics and stuff like Star Wars, which is just fantastic.
Well, nobody's heard of any of those things.
Yeah, really.
You know,
right, yeah.
You guys have got to be ecstatic with this the Marvel thing and the Avengers doing so well. It's elevated graphic arts to a whole new level in terms of serious respect from Hollywood, right?
Yeah, really the last, 10, 15 years, most all of the blockbusters have really come from the comic book community, whether it be the writers or the characters that have been created. Really a lot of your big films have all come from there. And so Hollywood really pays attention to the kind of comic book community now, and they really go to the conventions and they look for stories and writers and artists to see what they're creating.
Yeah, the Comic Con is the big thing in what is it, San Diego? They do it every year?
Yeah, San Diego. This will be my 20th year out there displaying my art and promoting. And I think it was back in about 2001. I think I was a guest of honor out there, which was fantastic.
Very, very classy. And I would imagine Hollywood's got all kinds of people looking around for story ideas and new people to bring on board to think up the next big set of blockbuster movies, right?
Yeah, and it seems like they dig a little deeper these days, which is great. They don't just go to the big studios and say, hey, Marvel and DC, what have you got up their sleeve? Because, most of those big characters we've all heard of, they've probably already got a movie in the works.
I imagine so, sure.
But now it seems you do see a lot of the smaller publishers and things like that, getting stories made. There's a lot of projects, even big blockbusters like Men in Black and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all originally came from very small, never really before heard of comics that are now big movies.
Boy, and it brought the level of the graphic novel thing is what I thought was interesting, because even that Tom Hanks gangster film a few years ago, Road to Perdition, was based on a graphic novel rather than some of the source material. I thought that was kind of neat, But anyway, Monty,
and the public doesn't know that a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's true. Now, Cutter is the movie they're going to make here in Mississippi this summer. Is this based on a comic book that you've done, or a character you've dealt with before, or is this just strictly an original screenplay you came up with?
It was an original screenplay. I didn't go straight to art or anything like that. I went straight into story, just kind of due to inspiration. Really, the whole story kind of stemmed from the location. I started with kind of thinking of where you guys are in the country, and everything was kind of born from that. Okay. Really, from the bayou kind of.
Yeah. Have you ever spent any time? Well, I know you love going to New Orleans for the Jazz Fest.
I was just there.
Do you get to go and airboat through the swamps or anything when you're back in the South?
Now, that's something I haven't done yet, but I have ridden my motorcycle kind of cross-country before and spent some time kind of going through the southern portion there many years back.
Okay, that'll give you an enormous flavor when you see it from the ground. Yeah, it's a whole different view than when you're flying over it. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, you're in it, and you get to stop wherever you want and go, well, that looks like a great place you'd never hear of, or on a map or whatever, and you can stop and eat and check out all the local flavor.
Oh, we'll feed you. We got local flavor. Trust me. We got.
Oh my God! I couldn't believe the food when I was down there.
You're
it's practically a pastime.
Yes, it is a pastime. It's a sporting event here. We actually have a class ring we hand out in eating. It's fun. But okay. Laura teased a little something about Cutter. She wasn't too revealing, but she did tell us that the central character in Cutter is a kind of a disturbed youth who's maybe misunderstood. Is that an accurate description, Monte?
Yeah, the inspiration, without giving too much away, I kind of wanted the character to be a little bit along the lines of Frankenstein, in that once you understand his past, you understand his motivations and why he is who he is, and so therefore you have empathy for him.
Yes.
He's not this sort of indestructible Michael Myers supernatural. He's a regular person who is basically a product of his experiences.
I see. Okay, so there's a little psychological stuff going on. All right.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what drew One Eye Dog Films to the script is, sometimes people say, oh, well, this is a horror project or whatever, and they don't think that the story is very deep, but in working with Aubrey, who's the director, and the producers, have really taken, in my opinion, what was a very good, solid story and turned it into a great script with some of their input, and really made it a lot more than just what you might find in the normal horror genre, and that's why we're all very excited.
Now, because of your background in art and design, you're also going to be the production designer in this film, and tell us what that entails.
Well, kind of production designer or art director is a term that people are most familiar with, and that means that really you're in charge of the visual look of the film, and so really in creating the sets and the props and the kind of, as I said, the visual flavor.
Right.
You're in charge of all the stuff that we see on the screen. That way the director and the producers, they don't have to worry about that. They can be concerned with the performances and how they want the action to flow, and the art director is the guy who's saying, hey, I want this room to look like this, and here's the props that are going to go in it, so that it sets the tone. And so that's also my job will be to build any of the necessary costumes, and then we'll be hiring some local people down there to also be on that, what we call the production team, and helping me, whether that's a construction or helping find necessary props and vehicles. We'll need some cars and motorcycle and a boat and all this kind of thing.
Wow, that's a big job right there. I know. In Canton, where they're going to be shooting the interiors, they've got a nice big soundstage. It's brand new. They just built it like 2 years ago, and it's cavernous. It's huge. I mean, you could park a blimp in there, and that's where you're going to be building a lot of the interiors for the little houseboat and some of the other stuff that you're going to be shooting. So you're going to have plenty. You got plenty of air conditioned room to work in, so that'll be handy. Especially.
Well, I think that's a big impetus. Obviously, given the time of year we're shooting, to make it comfortable for not only the cast and the crew, but also working long days. And when you're working indoors in a soundstage, a lot of people don't consider this, but it allows you to shoot nighttime scenes in the day.
Absolutely, yeah. You don't have to wait.
If you're doing exteriors at night, which I've done before on other movies, you're up for 2 weeks straight up every night, and you see the sun come up.
Oh my! Oh yeah, that's awful. Anyway, this is going to be fun. So you're going to be here with us this summer, building the sets and getting this thing kicked off, right?
Yeah, we'll be there I'll be there probably 2 weeks earlier, working on all the stages and that sort of thing. And so my estimation is that we'll probably be there around 4 to 6 weeks total, 3 to 5, somewhere in there.
All right. It's a movie shoot coming to Mississippi. We couldn't be more excited.
Oh,
The folks at the
Exactly.
Mississippi Film Office have been very, very helpful. One Odd Dog Films out of London. Mr. Monte Moore here is from Colorado. He's our art director.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
It's nice to know people
and
in
our
the-
screenplay
Yes.
author and so on. So this is going to be pretty exciting stuff. Cutter is the movie they're shooting here. We'll probably see it in theaters and stuff. I would imagine like next year. But it's going to be pretty exciting this summer when local folks are asked to take part in the filming of a major motion picture. Monty, this is a treat to talk to you, sir.
Well, thank you guys so much for your time, and we appreciate all your promotion and help finding us quality people down there.
Very
Our
good.
pleasure.
We'll see you this summer, Monty. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.